Hey, so hello, welcome tonight to JW2542 tutoring. This is my SHSAT 7th grade math course, which is taught at tutoring houses here in New York City. And I thank you for joining me as I present to you 25 lessons this year online for SHSAT and 22 lessons for the SAT here on my YouTube channel. So this will be recorded for my YouTube channel as it is a course still in development after 10 years of doing this for tutoring houses. I did not major in curriculum development. I majored in math to be a math teacher as a math specialist. And so I've taught grades 5 to 12, as well as college, and even grad school students to help them succeed to get scholarships for high school, college, graduate school, business school, and medical school. So it's been an exciting life as a tutor, learning all of these different courses backwards and forwards, and helping students connect with their math and science. I'm going to give a couple more minutes grace time to see if anyone shows up for this SHSAT class. Again, I'd like to thank both students who have showed up so far for the SAT class online. I appreciate it. It helps me develop and bring you good content and continue to evolve and as an educator in support of students who take the extra steps to learn more than the average student. So good for you. All right. And thanks for studying with me. So before we begin, this is lesson number 4, exponents. And I'm going to mute for just a couple minutes and give some grace time to see if anyone shows up for the class. Okay, see you in a couple minutes. All right, so let's begin tonight's class, lesson number 4, Exponents. And the first thing we're going to do is make a quick announcement for this class. The recommended donation per lesson is $50. This is completely voluntary, and they can be received on Venmo at Josh Wiener 10. Just a quick background story about me. I was a longtime street performer after protesting against racism in college, and took my street money to complete my college education, which I had to do on my own, where I double majored at City College and was accepted to Columbia University Teachers College, where I did a master's in mathematics education after completing a double major in math and Jewish studies humanities. So I continue here offering this class by donation to give thanks for the folks that supported me over the years, that kept me going as a performing juggler and musician. And I used I kept going and kept with my studies. And now in thanks, I'm offering my class by donation. Tonight's lesson is lesson number 4, Exponents. And just a quick overview of the SHSAT. This math exam will focus on your middle school and elementary school knowledge of the following topics: algebra, geometry, the coordinate plane, charts and graphs, probability and statistics, and a few other math topics. The SHSAT math section is 75 minutes and a total of 57 questions. There are 5 grid-in questions and 52 multiple choice. When you are studying for the SHSAT, it's good to have a checklist of skills that you need for the exam, such as a standardized test like the Scholastic High School Achievement Test, or SAT, or any other standardized test, where you're working with an educator, be it a tutoring house or private tutor, who's familiar with the exam and has lessons set up so that you can be successful. Here you can see that I've written a class that has 33 lessons total. It starts with algebra and then geometry and more puzzle solving, and ends with probability and statistics. And finally, with review of algebra, geometry, and charts and graphs. So you can use a course like this to get organized for the standardized test. You'll be doing problems that are 90 to 95% the exact same material that you will encounter on the exam. And so it can help you realize what your weak areas are, what your teacher hasn't taught you about problem solving questions, and help you get ahead on your math studies in middle school. In addition, perhaps 10 of the 57 questions are straight out of the curriculum from high school students, and they're placed on the exam. So by doing lesson, say, number 17, the Pythagorean theorem, or doing a few more geometry lessons on the coordinate plane, you have an advantage over other students who haven't been exposed to those high school lessons by their middle school teacher. Okay, because often teachers, be it COVID or be it the supporting the needs of the students at that grade level, often high school lessons are not included, even for forward-thinking teachers, because they want to make sure that all students are successful for their classes in 5th to 7th or 8th grade. If you have a math team at your school, you're also at an advantage because tests like the AMC 8 or other middle school mathletics type competitions put you in an advantage because over half the problems are of problem solving type. So if you're familiar with middle school math team contests, then you have an advantage for this test in particular, the SHSAT entrance exam for the 9 high schools in New York. Before we look at a few slides on some of the skills and exponents that you will need to be familiar with, we're going to start just like we do all of our classes at the tutoring house. We start with a warm-up quiz. So I designed all the warm-up quizzes from 1 to 25 that I'm going to share with you, with 2 easy level, 2 mid-level, and a challenge level math problem. Okay, often these problems, like I said, are like math contest puzzles or problem solving questions. So they combine several ideas from, say, algebra and geometry in the same question, or they're a word problem that you have to translate yourself. So it takes a little bit extra focus to get through this math lesson. It's not just simple arithmetic. It's not just remote using a formula. There's some thinking that's involved and often multi-steps to the problems. So just like at the tutoring house, I'll give you guys 10 minutes for these 5 practice questions. And I'll also put the link in the chat window, which you can see here in blue, so that you too can participate if you'd like to. And I've been meaning to figure out a way if I can do this right off the screen, but it looks like I have to exit the slideshow still. So I need to preset this. I have to remember to preset this before class for the quiz forms in the meeting chat, so I can paste them for you guys without exiting the slide carousel for this educator here, me. All right, so I've placed the blue link here in the chat window for the form, and you complete the 5 questions in 10 minutes. I will mute now, and I'll see you guys in 10 minutes, and we'll go over these 5 questions, our warm-up for the SHSAT. Good luck on quiz number 4. All right, that is time for SHSAT quiz number 4. 5 questions in 10 minutes. Please finish the problem that you're working on, and then make sure you have an answer for all 5 questions. Circle an answer for the 4 multiple choice, and create a numeric response for the grid in. You don't have to name the units, just the numerical value for question number 5. Down at the bottom of the form, you should see a bubble sheet as well as a blue button. Please click submit, and the form will be auto-graded by the school computer. The school computer here is linked to my Columbia Drive, so I'm saving all the data for any participants for this course in development on my Columbia Teachers College teacher drive. So thank you. All right, let's keep going. What I'm going to do now is, in service to the students, I always show how to solve any of these problems with a working method in less than 2 minutes. So let's do that quickly, starting with these 5 problems. Here it says, an infinite number pattern repeats 7, then 3 forever, meaning the pattern itself is 7, 3, 7, 3, 7, 3, 7, 3. Like a mantra, it just keeps going on forever and ever. What's the sum of the first 7 numbers in this sequence? Well, 2 numbers, 4, 6, 7, stop. There, right? We just have to add the first 7 numbers, but let's add these blocks. 7 plus 3 is 10. 10. 10 plus 7 is 30 plus 7, and the correct answer was C, 37. Okay, so being able to read is important for the math section. The sum of the first 7 numbers, 10 plus 10 plus 10. So you can count them faster, plus 7 was C, 37. All right, the next one is another word problem for puzzle solving. Here they said there's a 10 by 20 rectangular border frame. Okay, so if that's 10 by 10, like a square, here I'm drawing a freehand, then there's another square, we'll say that's 10 by 10. So this box here is 10 by 20. It holds an 8-inch by 18-inch mirror. Well, that's 20 across. 18 is almost the whole length. And 8 like that. So that would be the inside. Here, I'll write it in. 8 times 18 would be the area of the inner square. Tell me if I'm going too fast. Why don't we use a contrasting color? So 8 times 18, and then this outside, the larger square, is 20 on that side and 10 on the other side. So if I project it from the corner, how about that? I need this tool. 20 in this direction and 10 going along this direction. What's the area of the frame not covered by the mirror? Well, okay, the outside frame is 20 times 10. That's easy, that's 200. But a little harder to do without a calculator, 18 times 8. So you can multiply, if you know your times table. It's 64, carry the 6. 8 plus 6 is 144. If you don't have a calculator, one thing that's good to know for tests like this is 8 times 18. If you do this 1 times a half, and then multiply this factor by 2 over 1, you'll get 4 times 36. You can repeat that if it's still even. 2 times double this side, 72. Have this side, that's 1 times double this side, 144. So when you have a factor like 8, you can do that 3 times, and you'll get the same answer. So then, since the mirror is 144, see, 200 minus 144 is 56 inches squared, is the frame going around. Maybe if I had little pieces of wood, I could, here, I'll draw them. That's this ribbon of wood here. That's the frame for outside the mirror. It's the border. There. There. That's what we were calculating. The correct answer is that amount of frame not covered by the mirror is A, was A, 56 inches squared. Question 3. What's the value of the formula below when A equals 10 and B is 2 times A minus 9? All right, a little bit extra steps here. I'll use yellow chalk so you can see this. Okay, so we're going to plug into this formula, which is called the difference of cubes formula. B is 2 times 10 minus 9. Okay, so 2 times 1, which is like 2. Okay, so now we know that wherever we see the letter A, we're going to plug in or place the number 10. That gets the value of 10. So I'll highlight where the A's are. There, that'll be 10, that'll be 10. And then B is the other variable in place. That's a placeholder for the number 2. And a 2, and a 2. So now using yellow chalk, here we go. We're going to you do that assignment. 10 minus 2 times, well, 10 squared is 100, plus 10 times 2 is 20, plus 4. That's easy to add up. That's 124. Times 8. We can do the same trick. Times a half. It's a scale, really. Times the reciprocal, 2 over 1. So this will be 4. This will be 248. Good, you don't have to carry. Then 2, splitting that one in half, but then doubling this factor, 496. And then 2 times 4 is 800, but 2 times 9 is, here, I'll actually write it out, 800 plus 180 plus 12. So it has to end in a 2. It has to be 992. And the correct answer is, there's 980, 992B. Again, I'm not using a calculator. I'm not a human calculator. I'm just using this idea of doubling one factor and multiplying the other factor by a half. So just be careful when you do this. This factor is being halved. So it goes from 8 to 4, then half again, steps down to 2. This factor is being doubled. It goes times 2 again, times 2 again. All right, so the correct answer was B. We're up to question 4. Oh, good grief. Linus is making lemonade. He's going into the lemonade business. Linus made 4 gallons of lemonade for his summer sale. It cost him $3 per gallon to make the lemonade. Okay, so made 4 times $3 per gallon. So his cost for his business is $12. I guess that includes the cups and the pitcher or whatever. He sells the lemonade 8-ounce bottles for $1 each. Okay, that's 1 cup, one sale. 1 gallon equals 128 ounces. Okay, so 128 ounces divided into 8 is, oh my goodness, that's the same as 64 over 4. I'm just dividing by 2. And then reducing the fraction, that's 32 over 2 is 16 cups. Okay, see what I'm doing? I'm reducing the fraction this time. So now both of them get divided by 2, top and bottom. So that's equivalent to 16 cups, 16 servings, but they're at $1 each. So that means that he earns $16 is 1 gallon. Let's go over here. $16 if he sells 1 gallon, then that'd be double that, $32 if he sells 2 gallons. But we can add these together. Oh, we can double that. For 4 gallons, he'll have $64 in sales. So then to figure out how much Linus made, he makes $64 in sales, but you have to subtract $12, which is his business cost, right? So profit equals 64 minus 12, or $52 extra now at the end of the business day. So don't forget to subtract his business cost. Profit equals sales minus your business cost. That's a basic business equation. All right, so it's like, yeah, I like making lemonade. I like selling it, and it's fun. I meet people. Okay, fine, make a lemonade stand, Linus. However, it's like, well, how do I set up my business? How do I, so that people come and they have fun, they have lemonade, they meet each other, and we have a place where folks can get lemonade. Well, it costs him $12 to do that and get the 4 gallons ready. But if it's a good day and he sells out all his lemonade, he'll make $64 in sales minus $12 cost. He'll now have an extra $52 at the end of the day. Question 4. Last one. Question 5 reads, A farmer buys a square of land that is 10 acres. So there's the square, the area is 10. Acres. So here's the problem. Let me put it this way. If we have a 3x3 square, we have a larger square, say that's 4x4. If there's 3 and 3 and it's squared, that means the area is 3 times 3, which is 9. But if the area was 4x4, 4 times 4 square, then the area would be 16. So the area that's 10 means that the side length, and I'll project it out from a corner, that's 3 units and that's 3 units, gives us an area of 9. 4 units in that direction, 4 units on that side of the square from that corner, is an area projected out of 16 units. So that means that if this is 3, it has to be more than 3, but it can't be. This square should be smaller than it looks. In fact, I'm going to have to fix that for you guys. It should, if that square is 9 units, it shouldn't be that much larger, right? That's really the proper square that has an area of 10. So I'll fix that for you guys. This blue square has an area of 10. That's really the 4x4 area. So in other words, the edge here, we know that a 3x3 square has an area of 9. But if we make the side a little bit longer, that's what we need. It'll be a little bit longer than 3 and a little bit longer than 3. It'll have an area of 10. Here, I'll draw the green arrows here. If we extend that side just a little bit longer and this side just a little bit longer, we'll have an extra area for that square. So how do we know nearest 10th? How do we know what to do for the area? Well, we have to work it out with our pen and paper. Let's pretend that the area is, okay, 3.1 on this side and 3.1. Then we'll do 3.1 times 3.1. Well, 1 times 1 is 1, 3. This will be 93. And that has an area of 961, but we move the decimal in 2 places. 9.61 area. So that's a little less than 10. Right? If the side is 3.1. If we do 3.2, however, and times 3.2, 2 times 32 is 64. Put down a placeholder. Placeholder 0. 3 times 2 is 6 tens. 3 tens times 3 tens is 9. We add that together, we get 1024. Tuck the decimal in 2 places, and we get an area that's larger than 10. So in other words, if the side is 3.1, we get an area that's a little less than the actual square. That's an area 10. If we do 3.2, then we get an area of 10.24. In other words, whatever the side length is, that green arrow, whatever that green arrow is, we now know that it's bigger than 3.1 because that's an area that's too little, but it's less than 3.2 because that's an area that's too big. Let's try the midpoint. So we'll try 3.15 times 3.15, and we get 5 times 5 is 25, carry the 2. 5 times 3 is 15. 1575, put down a placeholder. 315, put down 2 placeholders. We get 945. You add that up, you get 5, 2, carry, 10, 11, 12, carry, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, 9.9225. Not bad. So very close to 10. It's 9.9225. So 3.15 is a really, really good estimate. And we can use that for our value, because to the nearest, that's pretty good. It's either 3.15 or 3.16, right? That's a little bit more than that. All right, that should be good enough. So then if you have 3.15 on all four sides, and you are to add up the amount of fence, 3.15 times the side length of an acre, you get 12.60, which was the correct answer, rounded to the nearest 10. 12.6 units of the side length of an acre. That was question number 5, the challenge level. Okay, you can try it yourself. If you try 3.16 or 3.17 and multiply them out, I think 3.16 might even be a better approximation, but that'll still round down to 12.6. Trust me, if you you add that together, you'll still get you get 3.64, right? Which rounds down to the nearest 10th would be 12.6. It won't round up to 12.7. Okay. Let's go to today's lesson. Tonight we're going to go over lesson number 4 in the 25 lessons that I will share with you online this year, school year 23 to 24. Right up to lesson number 4, and it's exponents. So here we just have we always have a mini lesson that's between 1 and 4 pages, but since middle school students should be familiar with the rules of exponents, this should be a review sheet. The most common exponents that are part of the problems on the 57 questions in math on the SHSAT are the following skills. First of all, when a number is multiplied by itself, it's called an exponent. Exponents have a base number and a small raised number called an exponent. There are a few rules you should be familiar with for the SHSAT using exponents. Rule number 1, remember that you can group like terms. You can add or subtract only with the following way. When adding and subtracting different exponents, we group the exponents with the same base and exponent and add or subtract the coefficients only. So it should be obvious when we do the first ones, just like in elementary school. If we have one square and we get another square, we have 2 squares together. So we just put a 2 in front of the x squared or square symbol. Similarly, if we're going with cubes, if we have 2 cubes and then we get 5 more cube blocks, now we had 2, we have 5 more, we have 7 cubes. Okay, so you can add them together as long as the base is x and the exponent is 3. Similarly, if we have x to the 4th power, then we have 3 of those, and then we use 2 of them. 3 minus 2 means we have 1 x to the 4th remaining. Okay, so whether it's written in paragraph form, or if it's written symbolically, it has to have the same base and exponent, so that you can add and subtract terms. The next thing that you have to master is a few of the rules for exponent multiplication and division. When there are more than one variable in an expression, we add and subtract by variable group. When an expression has terms with different exponents, we must sort the terms by power level. Here are the 3 important rules for combining exponents with the same base. The product rule. If we have x repeated a times x repeated b times, that's equal to x to the a plus b. If we have the quotient rule, it's next. If we have x to the a divided by x to the b, that's x to the a minus b. And finally, if we have x to the a, but we repeat that b times, that's the same as x to the a times b. Let's look at a few examples with the product rule, quotient rule, and power to a power rule. Here we have the expressions, and what I'll do is I'll write them out with a yellow chalk so that you can see what the writer is talking about. If we have 2x to the 5th times 8x to the 7th, what you need to do is 2 times 8 separately. I shouldn't use x, I'll just write 2 and 8 are the constants. And then we literally have 5 x's, right? Because it's x to the 5th. If I were to unpack it like unpacking a soldier's book bag, we would have 5 x's in the product. And similarly, there's x to the 7th, so we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 x's in the second product. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a little tricky for the eye, so what I'll do is I'll separate every 3. How about that? So you can see that that's 5 and that's really 7. 3, 6, 7. Because the human eye counts that a lot faster. Okay. Oh. However, if we want to count them up, right, then you could probably count by 5s. There's 5. There's 5 more. And an extra 2. 5, 10, 11, 12. And truly, it is x to the 12th. So here we have 2 times 8. Well, that's 16. And all of these x's together, that's x to the 12th power. So that was example number 1. Okay, notice that since it was x to the 5th times x to the 7th, here I unpack them, but if you count them all up, that would be 12. That's why we use the rule for the product rule. Add the numbers up above. 5 from this count and 7 in the product here for x to the 7th. A little trickier is example number 2 because it's not written as a modern fraction. So it's easier if I write it as a fraction. I know you'll remember this when your teacher showed you. Unpack it. We have 6 is 2 times 3. And x to the 7th will be 7 x's. And then we just have one coefficient, 2. So that can stay by itself. But we have 5 x's. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And down the denominator, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When a numerator is the same as the denominator, it becomes 1. 2 divided by 2 eliminates. But also, these 3 x's will be canceled, and so will these. 5 of them will be eliminated by factor cancellation. So what survived the cancellation process, so to speak? We have 3x squared in the numerator, and 1, because everything was eliminated in the denominator, they all became 1s. 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 is 1, and that's 3x squared. For question number 2. So seeing it as a modern fraction and remembering the rules for canceling factors is very useful, right? If you forget why we're subtracting. 7 minus 5 is indeed 2. 6 divided by 2 is indeed 3. And we confirm that here if you were to do the more modern method, okay? Remember, it's 7 minus 5 going down that way. 6 divided by 2 is 3, and you have the right scaled result. Lastly, the power to a power rule is really saying that whatever is inside the parentheses is going to be repeated 4 times. So if I were to write 3x squared, I got a little chalk. If I were to write 3x squared to the 4th, that means it's whatever's in the parentheses repeated 4 times. So there'll be 3 repeated 4 times. And remember, I was writing them out for you. Then we'll have 3 times x times x, 3 times x times x, 3 times x times x, 3 times x times x. Then just go down the line and do the math. 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27, times 3 is 81. And then just counting all of the powers of x, there's 8 in the count. So it must be 81x to the 8th. All right, so you do them separately. The coefficient is raised to the 4th power. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 9 is 81. And then if you did the right count for the exponents, 2, 4, 6, x to the 8th. Okay, so those are the 3 skills you need mastery of even though you're only in middle school, so that you can do the SHSAT problems with exponents. Okay, so just to recap, make sure that you're familiar for this test with the product rule for exponents, the quotient rule for exponents, and the power to a power rule for exponents. It's time now for SHSAT classwork number 4. And all of our class worksheets for the course are designed in the following manner. The first 12 questions are easy level, 1 to 12. And then there's a page of mid-level questions, that's 13 to 18, and they'll be marked for you. And then the challenge level ones are 19 to 24. And then it ends with grid-ins, which are 2 of each, 2 easy, 2 mid, 2 challenge. So there's 30 practice questions total. Since we only have a 90-minute class, we choose to do half of them, right? 30 are set up for you. If you want more to practice with, by all means, go for it. But we're only going to do, it's an even lesson number 4, so we're only going to do the even problems in this share. Okay, and I'll give you the answer key for all 30 so that you can skill up on the SHSAT. But again, we're only doing even numbered problems tonight for the SHSAT, and then we'll review them together. So here's the form link. Again, I neglected to set aside the links on another sheet of paper. But if you click on it, it'll open up like that. Now it's misbehaving. What I wanted to do was copy the link. So I'll put it in chat for you guys. You have to put it like on a separate sheet of paper. All right. So please begin. I'll give you guys, the time is 7:58, and we only have 90 minutes. So you'll have a 20-minute practice on exponents. So give these a try. You notice that some of them are straightforward, just like regular homework in mathematics, but that at least half of them are testing your skills with the product rule, quotient rule, or power to a power rule with exponents. All right, so please refer to those slides as you solve the problem. I'll see you guys in 20 minutes, and we'll review. I'll reveal the answer key for these 30 problems, and then we'll review a few select problems together. Okay, good luck, and thanks for studying with me. See you in 20 minutes. Okay, just a couple of extra minutes while I just check that the classwork key is set on the Google form slideshow teacher presentation here. Just 2 more minutes. All right, so here we go. What I'll do first is make sure that the slideshow is working here as it's reloaded. And I always like to personally go over the answer keys to make sure that all the questions are correct as I rewrite the course year after year. So here, ladies and gentlemen, are the results for classwork number 4. So here's the final answer key. Since we're only working on the even problems tonight, question number 2 was A, 4 was C, 6 was B, 8 was C, 10 was A, 12 was A, 14 was C, 16 was D, 18 was D, 20 was A, 22 was C, and 24 was D. 26 was 5, 28 was 32, and 30 had 3 answers, 1, 2, or 4 for that last challenge problem. All right, what I'd like to do now is just go over a few examples. I'm not going to go over all of the problems, but let's scroll through and see how these use the product rule, the quotient rule, and at least one with the power to a power rule in our review. So we'll go through them, only the even problems tonight. So 5 to the x equals 125. Then what is 3 to the x? So 5 times some number is 125. Well, that's 5 times 25. Well, that's 5 times 5 times 5. So that's 5 cubed. So that means that the missing number x, we need the 3rd power to reach 125. Right? So now x is 3. Then we have to bring that to the new expression. We've got 3 to the 3rd power, right? Because x is 3, and that was 27, and the correct answer was A. 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. That was question 2. Question 4, pretty straightforward. That's the product rule. Again, like I mentioned, if you are just learning this, like as a middle school student, we have to type out x 5 times, right? That's x to the 5th. X to the 13th, we would have to, again, putting them in blocks of 5. If we're doing the product, then we're doing a product of all of those elements. 5, 10, 15 plus 3 gives us x to the 18th. If you found that, you have the right answer, C. Okay, notice how I just block them in 5s and then stop because we have the extras there, the extra 3 there on that side. So 5, 10, 15, 18 is correct. Question 6, x cubed to the 5th power. Same thing. We could write it out. Again, I'll just use my typing skill here with the yellow chalk. It's x cubed, but we're repeating that 5 times. So you have to count all of those powers of x, right? Because we're repeating that base 5 times. Well, again, the human eye is very good at grouping by 5. So 5, stop there. And then go to the next group of 5. That would be these 5. And then go to the next group of 5, just alternating colors so I don't make a mistake. Then we can see that we have 5 plus another group of 5 plus another group of 5. So we have 15 powers. The exponent should be 15. And the correct answer is B. So bravo if you got B, x to the 15th. That is the power to a power rule. So now we've done the product rule and the power to a power rule, but we haven't done one with quotient rule. Let's see if there's one here. No, not that one. It's a plug-in. No. Wait a minute. Oh, there, 16. All right, here's the one with the quotient rule that is very clever. So what I'll do is I'll write it out, right? Because we know that you subtract because they eliminate. So we'll do it longhand first, and then we'll do it using the rule itself. Okay. So we have 4 6 times. 3, we've got 4 of those. And we've got 2 2s. And then in the denominator, we've got 2 4s, 4 squared. 3 to the 4th, so we've got 4 of those. And we've got 2 to the 6th, so we have 6 2s in the product of these monster numbers, but we're using our cancel skills. 2 4s can cancel 2 4s up above. These 4 can cancel all the 3s there. And, sorry, hold on just a second. These 2 can cancel 2 down below. So think of it that way, all right? So now when we cross them off, those 4s cancel those 2. Those 4 factors are all the 3s are on. Those 2 factors of 2s are canceled. So 2 4s are canceled, 4 3s and 2s. And then what survived? Well, what survived the cancellation process is 4, 4, 4, 4. That would be multiplied together. And 2, 2, 2, 2. But we can rewrite, or we can just divide top to bottom then. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And that'll be true for each of the factors, like 4 separate fractions. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 2 to the 4th, which is 16. So the correct answer was D for question 16. If we do it using the quotient rule, 4 to the 6th over 4 squared, that's the same base. 3 to the 4th over 3 to the 4th. 2 squared over 2 to the 6th. We're going from the top down when we use the quotient rule. 6 minus 2, 4 minus 4, 2 minus 6. And we get 6 minus 2 times 3 of the 4 minus 4 times 2 to the 2 minus 6. So that's 4 to the 4th power times 3 to the 0 power times 2 to the negative 4th. All right, so you had to know that this is just this being divided by itself. Anything to the 0 power is 1, so we can cancel it off. So it's really the 4 to the 4th times 2 to the negative 4. So you're a middle school student, you're like, how can we have a negative exponent, says the 7th grade? Well, the negative exponent means that if we have 2 to the negative 4 over 1, the story goes, if you want to make it positive, put it on the other side of the fraction, rewrite it, but change the sign to +4. This is true for negative exponents. So it's really the same as, just be careful, we're moving that negative exponent and making it positive in the denominator, okay? It's on the other side of the fraction now. So that means that it's really 4 to the 4th over 1 times 1 over 2 to the 4th. which is, well, anything times 1 is itself, 4 to the 4th over 2 to the 4th, which is the same as 4 over 2 to the 4th. 4 divided by 2 is 2, right? Because we're the same count. So 2 to the 4th is also 16. And we still get the correct answer is D. D was correct. All right, last one for tonight. I'm going to skip the plugins. Well, number 20, maybe we should do. Number 20 uses a weird symbol notation, the star. And here the star is a computer function. So it's saying that you use A to the B based on that block of symbols. So this is asking for an input for an A and input for a B. So the first thing we have to do is the parentheses. And we have to create the exponent based on the two input numbers, A and B. Here we have 3 as the base and 2 up as the exponent. So here we go. So using yellow chalk again, we have 2 star is a math rule. I don't know if you've taken computer class where you input numbers or use a calculator. So this is really saying 3 squared, right? Because 3 is the base and 2 is the exponent. So that's 9. Then we have to do 2 star rule 9, which means that we have to do 2 to the 9th. Well, that's 2. Let me break that down into 2 cubed times 2 cubed times 2 cubed, right? Because we can do that faster. 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8. So that's 8 times 8 times 8. And I know my perfect square, so that's 64 times 8, whatever that is, times 8. So 64 times 8, 2 carry the 3, 51, 5, 12. The correct answer was A. Okay. That's 8 times 8 times 8. Okay, so it's 64 times 8. All right, last one for tonight. Let's go to question 30. Here we had a challenge level problem, and it was 2 to the 4th plus 4 cubed plus 8 squared equals 9 times some x to the n. For what positive integer n? And this is a really cleverly written problem, and I wrote it. So let's see what happens if we rewrite each of the exponents in a clever way. Okay, this is 2 to the 4th, which we know is 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8 times 2 is 16. And we know 4 cubed is 4 times 4, which is 16, right, times 4. So I'm just rewriting it as this is 1/16, that's 4/16. And then 8 squared is 64, but I'm going to rewrite that as also 4/16. So really, we have 1/16. Follow my logic here. 4/16, because that's 64. And 8 squared is 64, but I'm rewriting it as 4/16. So how many 16s do we have total? We have 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 4 is 9/16. This is true. But 16 needs to be rewritten as some exponent. Well, we have some choices here. We could make it 16 to the 1st power. We could make it 4 squared, or we could make it 2 to the 4th. Those are all equal to 16. So we have 3 correct answers. 1, 2, or 4 are all correct. So if you put 1, 2, or 4, you have the correct answer for the exponent above n. That could be 1, 2, or 4, all representing the number 16. 16 to the 1st is the same as 4 squared, is the same as 2 to the 4th power. All right, so that was question 30. All right, thank you so much for checking out this course and this worksheet. I spent hundreds of hours creating it for the schools down here in New York City, and I'm sharing it this year online, at least 25 of the lessons. So Thank you so much. We'll see what interest there is as I continue its development. If you'd like to learn more about me, you can go to my Wix site, JW2542. I've for over 15 years, I've worked with thousands of students here in New York, and we have done New York State Regents, SHSAT, the test for Catholic schools, the cooperative test, the high school placement test, PSAT, SAT, ACT, AP exams in math and science, and even college students working on their statistics or calculus or the graduate record exam. Additionally, I've served as a weekly tutor to support grades 5 to 12 in mathematics, science, English, and other classes. If you go to the site, you can see feedback from parents. If you'd like to hire me as your personal tutor, I still do have hours available. And I thank you so much for spending your time checking out my course here. Just as a friendly reminder, please, this course is being developed by donation, even though I'm offering it free on my YouTube channel as a gift back to the community. And I thank you so much for spending time with me tonight. Here are the links to the quiz, classwork, and homework. I'll leave them as an open share. You can click on them anytime, and you can complete the course as it's loaded up online. Lessons 1 to 4, and if you'd like access to the further lessons as I continue to code them, and you need them ahead of time, like let's say you're taking the SHSAT in November, just send me a friendly email to JSMW2542@gmail.com, and I can give you access to the full set. Because as parents get their child ready for the difficult SHSAT exam, it's great to have more resources and worksheets and a checklist of skills that you can have access to. So here, as I'm sharing 25 lessons, let's see, that's 30 classwork and 30 homework. So that's 60 times 25, that's 1,500 questions that I'm sharing, as well as the quizzes, which are 150 additional easy, mid, and challenge level questions. So you have access to a lot of material to get ready for this standardized test. A lot of controversy of the SHSAT, me being an educator in mathematics for over 15 years, I'd rather see more specialized high schools than less, so that the US can stay competitive to other nations that now have their own tech cities all around the world. If you look at the international tests, such as the PISA, the United States has fallen from one of the top nations to sort of in the middle of the industrialized world in their performance in math and science. So anyway, keep trying. And one of the great things about this free country is not only our diversity, but access to open share learning, which I'm proud to be a part of here as I share this class. So thank you so much for spending time with me tonight and viewing this lesson. And maybe you can join me as well on live October 11th, 2023 at 7 p.m. for another online class on Zoom for the SHSAT, number 5 next week. All right, good night, and have a pleasant tomorrow. Thanks for, and hey, happy studying. Bye.